The strongest Male Saiyan build is here, at least for the Diamond DLC. Again, this will be outdated by the time Future Saga Chapter 3 comes out, so when that does, I'll make another one. But for now, let's quickly get into what makes this build so strong. And I'm going to start with my change equipment first, then we'll get to the skill. So let's go over this as quick as we can. QQ bangs, especially level 6 QQ bang, is mad important, and farming these is honestly the hardest part. Like, the stats that go into your character are cool, don't get me wrong, but farming this is the real nightmare, because my ideal would actually have more health than less health. My ideal QQ bang, especially for this build, would have less strike, because I don't use strikes for their damage, I use them for their usability, for their versatility. I don't use Soaring Fist because it does a ton of damage, I use it because it's another way to extend combos, and I use Supreme Fury not because I'm trying to do a ton of damage with it, but it's also just a really easy way to get out of melee attacks, grabs, etc. Right? So my ideal QQ bang would actually have health, and it would have minus in strike, but you can't control that. Just see if you could get a 6-star QQ bang that's of your liking, but for a Saiyan, I would 100% recommend you have high stamina, high basic attack, high ki blast. Those are the most important by far. By far. You can have less ki, sure, if you want. The only reason I don't mind having high ki is because it makes it even easier to go blue evolved, makes it even easier to use 5-bar ultimate attacks, and even 10-bar ultimate attacks if you get really lucky. But yeah, I would rather have less strike. And onto the Super Soul, there are only 2 Super Souls I'd recommend for this build. This one, because this Super Soul is just one of the greatest ones in the game in general, other than obviously super broken ones like Thank You Dragon Balls. But we're talking in terms of just playing the game and not being like an insane like meta sweat lords tryhard, right? This is one of the best ones in the game. 10% attack in all stats, very high movement speed buff that gets even higher when you transform, by the way, and an automatic ki recovery, which lets you keep up your transformations for longer, especially if you have ki draining transformations like Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. Super Saiyan Blue actually becomes infinite with this Super Soul, so that's very important to take into account, and Blue Evolved gets greatly reduced ki consumption to the point where it's not infinite, but it's very, very sturdy. And the second Super Soul I'd recommend is something deadly's about to happen. As you guys know, this one is very broken on Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. The only problem is that your enemy needs to be above 80% ki, which is hard to control, especially if you're fighting spammers. They're going to be using their ki all the time. Ki Blast Cannon, Super God Fist, Handy Cannon, all these different moves, right? They're going to be using them a lot. So you won't always get the chance to, but this, with Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, nasty. Super Saiyan Blue Evolved already gives you an amazing defense buff, so having automatic health recovery and being tankier is gross. But then having ridiculous stamina recovery of the Super Soul stacked with the ridiculous stamina recovery of Blue Evolved, even more broken. It's genuinely like just a top tier Super Soul if you can work it with Super Saiyan Blue Evolved and if your enemy actually stays above 80% ki. So that's it for that, and we are going to the skills right away. Now again, some of these skills you could change, but for the most part, this is what I feel comfortable with. If there's anything you want to change after you hear my reasoning for it, please do change them. And in fact, there are many skills I would change here. Let's start off with Death Slicer. I believe Death Slicer is great for Male Saiyans. One, because the way I build my Male Saiyan is a basic attack Ki Blaster, because I think Ki Blasts just synergize better with basic attack than strikes do. I usually feel like a lot of strikes end the combo, unless if it's stuff like Super God Fist, but then even then you have to be pretty close to the ground to continue the combo. Ki Blasts just do more damage in general, and they also can still be comboed more, but then there's also more Ki Blasts in the game, so you just have more options, and Death Slicer is one of them. Death Slicer has the amazing ability to be an infinite, because Male Saiyans really do a ton of damage, and Death Slicer, when it hits people, it puts them in a standing position, and you can cancel out of the move to go back into a longer combo. So you can actually Death Slicer someone and then Stamina Break them if you want to. It's just a crazy good move in general, especially for a basic attack Ki Blast Male Saiyan hybrid. It's also one of the best moves in the game because apparently no one watched the anime, so nobody knows you're not supposed to block it. I don't know how that keeps happening, but every single time I use this move, my enemy just is holding guard, like they can block it. So that's just funny. Flash Strike. Of course, since we're a Ki Blast Male Saiyan, we must bear one of the moves of the Prince. And the Prince, he does nasty Ki Blast damage. And Flash Strike is that move. Now, normally I wouldn't even use this move. This move is so broken, it actually gets out of my radar for moves I would use in the game. It's just a single hit that does a ton of damage that comes out really quickly. It's just broken. It's like 80% of a health bar, sometimes a whole health bar, just on its own. And it's so laughably easy to do as a Male Saiyan too, because you can just do X, Y, and then Flash Strike. And it's just... it's broken. It's super, super broken. Its only weakness is that if it's lagging, it won't work. I think I even have a clip of me trying to use it, and it just doesn't work because it's lagging. Because, you know, we're playing Xenoverse too. So its only weakness is that if it's lagging super bad, the move just won't work. That's pretty much it. Supreme Fury. I have gotten massive love for this move recently. This move is just really good. A strike super attack that is just a hard counter to any melee move in the game, even grabs. So if you're fighting some of the more OP stuff, like DBS Broly, hits, this move actually straight up ignores time skip and Broly's grabs and lets you get the counter attack too. In fact, using this move will incentivize the enemy to spam their melee stuff less. And we already know Xenoverse 2 players can't play if they're not spamming, so the fight will just become easier if you put this move on, because you'll scare the spammer out of, you know, not using his spam. And we already know they can't fight without it, so it's just a good move, just for that alone. Burst Charge is something I probably wouldn't recommend for most people, but I like using it. I like having the extra option available. Sometimes you only need one extra bar of ki to get your transformation going or your ultimate attack going, and you can quickly get that with Burst Charge and then use your ultimate attack or your transformation or any super attack you're trying to build up towards safely, right? Sometimes you'll knock the enemy back and you feel like you can't do much more of the combo. So hey, just get Burst Charge, get 2 bars of ki, so that way I can get 2 Death Slicers, which would be 4 hits of Death Slicer. Or maybe my next combo will lead into a Flash Strike. I'll finally have ki for Supreme Fury. These are all things you can take into account, and it's why I love Burst Charge. Burst Charge, I mean, I wish ki charging was universal, but Burst Charge I would recommend having for almost every build. Sign of Awakening. Now, I just personally like this move. If I'm being honest, I would probably say Circle Flash goes over it. Sign of Awakening I just like though, because 1, it looks really cool, 2, it can counter Limit Burst, and 3, it can actually counter enemies who think you're open and are going for a hit, because it activates really, really quick, so they most likely won't see it coming, and you just get the ultimate attack off. And even if you miss, the move has a laughably quick recovery, because it's just a dash move, and if it doesn't hit the enemy, it doesn't do any damage, and it just lets you go for free. So I love it, but Circle Flash is just ridiculous. Circle Flash hard counters Limit Burst, because it activates so quick, a Limit Burst isn't going to block it, and then by the time you hit the person with the move, they can't Limit Burst out of it. They just have to take the damage, and you can use this move twice in a stamina break if you have 6 bars of ki. It's nasty, it's disgusting. It's one of the best moves in the game by far. So I'd honestly recommend Circle Flash sometimes, but for me personally, I just like Sign of Awakening. Special Beam Cannon Beast. I feel like I don't have to say too much for this move. It does one of the highest damages in the game. It does even more damage if your health is lower. It's one of the only ultimate attacks that you can guaranteed land at full charge, because if you land the kick, the enemy cannot evasive out the move, they cannot limit burst out the move, they can't even have lag save them out of the move. If anything, the game lagging would make your kick hit more likely, because it's a grab. So if it hits a false hit confirm, the whole move hits. It's just a god tier move. I would honestly recommend this on every build in the game in general, not just Male Saiyans. It's just straight up one of the best moves in the game. Another reason why having ki in your QQ Bang could be quite important, because you might need 5 bars of ki to drop this bad boy at any time. And of course, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved. I think this is the best transformation in the game, and I do think it's better than Giant Namekian. Even with the Giant Namekian Super Soul, I think it's better, just because Super Saiyan Blue Evolved gives you that extra defense as a transformation. It just gives you extra stamina, extra defense. It makes you mad quick. So even if going up against the Giant Namekian, you're not going to struggle too much. You might get hit a few times, sure, but they'll be out of stamina, and you'll be in tip-top condition. So it's just one of the best moves in the game. Again, the only issue with it is that Super Saiyan forms make you have a cringe teleport attack that makes all of your attacks slower. So it kind of like shoots itself in the foot with its own movement speed. But other than that, best transformation in the game. The only things that compare to, I think, are Potential Unleashed, Pure Form Margin, and yeah, Giant Namekian. That's it. Pretty much it. Spirit Explosion is my evasive of choice, but if I'm being honest, just ignore Spirit Explosion, go straight to Dragon Burn. You are a ki blasting Male Saiyan. Anybody who's close to you is getting the life beaten out of them, and by the time they get their hands on you, you can drop a 200 ki stat Dragon Burn on them. Now again, people don't really use evasives for their damage. People obviously use them for, you know, their usability, whether they stun the enemy, or set up combos, or they're really easy to get out of jail with, etc., right? But Dragon Burn is all of those things, and then now you're doing more damage than you were previously, because you're not using it as like a low ki blast attack character, you're using it as a high ki blast attack character. So it's really, really good. I would recommend Dragon Burn, but you know me, I like my own enjoyment over damage, so I'm going to use Spirit Explosion for this video. And that will be it. Man, I always try to keep these explanations so short, but again, the longer this game has been out for, the more you need to explain stuff. This isn't like day one Xenoverse where you can make a build video and ki cancelling wasn't a thing yet, so the build could just have Afterimage on all the time. Now Afterimage is literally dead and irrelevant. You can just ki cancel instead. It's free, it's better, it's just nasty as hell. So the longer the game comes out, the more you have to explain why this is a viable option for the build. And by the time the next DLC comes out, these videos are going to be like 10, 12 minutes just on these sections, and the fights are going to be like 5 minutes. So that's it. Without further ado, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the fight. So while you're here, please do leave a like in the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel. And leave a comment down below as to what other builds you guys would like to see. Since I am leveling all my characters now, my female Earthling's leveled, my female Saiyan is leveled, my female Margin is leveled. All I need to do is level up my male Earthling and my Namekian. I don't think I'll level my Freeze unless if you guys really ask for that in the comments. So do please let me know, and that will be it. I do love you all. I hope you enjoyed, and enjoy the fights.
Over here. What's wrong? wrong?
That was incredible!
Over here. Over here.
Dirty fire!
They were, time patroller!
Over here. What's wrong? Over here.